friends, my name is Joey. I'm so glad you're here. I got two of my boxes that I get directly from the Czech Republic. The company is called Kraftika, and I've already done a video on the other box, which is called Czech Beads Exclusive, but this one is called Bohem style, and it comes in this little window box. It's like getting a gift every month, and this particular box is curated and has all the supplies that you need for 2 complete pieces of jewelry, and you get this little insert with a thumbnail showing you the 2 pieces, and this month it is gorgeous. I'll pop up some pictures, a little bit better pictures of what it looks like, but it's a stunning, really long necklace with concentric circles as a focal drop, and there's a double strand bracelet to make, and the instructions are really clear. There is a code that takes you to a video tutorial, so you can copy this and have full instructions, or you can do what I usually do and use the beads to do my own thing. So if you love the handiwork but you don't love curating or like going in your stash and pulling beads, this box is for you. But if you're a seasoned jewelry maker like me and you just love high quality, really beautiful beads and findings, this box is also for you. So I am always excited when I get these 2 boxes. The other box, the Czech Beads Exclusive, this is the bracelet that I did with it. It is a multi-wrap bracelet, and it's quite long, so when you unwrap it, it can also be converted into a necklace. And the beads in that box were just beautiful. Both boxes this month are accented with silver, but I love gold and I love mixing gold and silver, so I mixed in gold on this piece, and I'm also going to mix in gold on my project that I do with this one. So again, the company is called Kraftika, and if you hit more under this video and then usually more again, there is a link that will take you right to the website if you're interested in either one of these boxes. So let me go through the supplies that you get very quickly. Oh, and by the way, that beautiful little window box is tied with jewelry quality cotton cord every month in some color, and I always save this because this is the perfect length to do a little knotted bracelet or earrings, and so I always save this in my cording stash, so it's like an extra little bonus. And then just to show you before we go into the beads, everything that you need for the 2 pieces of jewelry is here. Lobster claw clasps, whatever head pins you need, jump rings, bead stringing wire, flat crimps, so these are crimp beads that you flat crimp, and this month oval jump rings. And let me just say something about the flat crimps. If you are struggling with crimping, because if you're newer, that tends to be a thing that causes people trouble, this is the easiest method of crimping. Anybody can crimp, because you just feed this little crimp bead on your bead stringing wire, take either your bent chain nose pliers or regular chain nose pliers or even flat nose pliers and just flatten it. It's super simple. So if you're a beginner, this box can be really perfect for you to just start making and doing, because they've even made the crimping in this box super easy. So I absolutely love the colorway. It is all the colors of like tropical waters, like the turquoises and the blues of a Caribbean cruise, you know, when you look over the side of the deck out into the water. And so there's these beautiful Czech glass swirl beads, and they're in 2 colors, the crystal clear and then this beautiful water blue with a silver wash. And I love these, look to be 10mm silver metallic Czech glass faceted rounds, and I'm dying over these. One of mine is missing. It's not missing, but I had to do a little setup for my project a little bit ahead of time, and it's sitting off to the side. I can't wait to show you. It's a little bit of design on the fly what I want to do with these, because I've never done a bracelet this way before. I had the idea, and you know, it worked out in my head, so we'll see. I'll take you guys along for the design idea today. But I have had these Czech glass conch shells in so many colors, and they're usually the opaque colors with like some kind of a wash on top. But this color of this Czech glass shell is just stunning, and it's got the AB finish on it, so you get that like underwater sort of the prisms of light when the sun, you know, bounces off the water. It's absolutely gorgeous. It shimmers like a mermaid tail, It's just so beautiful. So my design is going to feature this bead. It's really my favorite in the box. And then let me grab a little piece of wire so I can get my fingers out of the way. There is a beautiful 6mm Czech glass faceted rounds, one of my favorite beads, and pressed glass bicones. These look to be 4mm in that metallic silver. It's so pretty. I love Czech glass pressed bicones. Don't ask me why, but in any size, whether they be small or large, I love the geometry and I love all the smooth lines, and I just love how cool it looks in between round beads and other shapes. And speaking of which, we got a matte pale blue Czech glass bicone. There's a little quantity of those. I actually didn't count the quantities, but the necklace project is quite long in this month's box, and the bracelet is a 2-strand. So there's a lot of beads here. The boxes that come from Kraftika, there's more in them than it appears when you open it. They are jam-packed with beads. This is a 4mm Czech glass faceted round in silver. And then look at this cool bicone. This is like a pressed glass kind of smooth bicone. It doesn't have the angles of the other one, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I just love it. I even see like some bubbles in the glass. I don't know if the camera's showing you that, but it is gorgeous. And there's a little bit of flash. There's an AB finish on part of it. It's like half AB and half clear. I love that. I'll be using all of those. There's only 6 in the box. I'll be using all of those in my project. And then this, I actually digress. These and these are matte silver, and this is the metallic silver. I misspoke. Let me show you the difference. I'll get a bigger one here so you can see. The finishes that Czech glass comes in are absolutely amazing. So can you see the metallic one that almost looks like metal? This fools the eye. You can't even believe it's glass, but it is. They're both glass. But this is the matte silver and this is the metallic silver. How gorgeous is that? I absolutely love the silver with this water blue, but I do love gold jewelry too. And so I've had a blast mixing the two metallics all year so far. And then look at this. So the necklace, as you saw from the pictures, has, if I can get a hold of them, it has concentric circles as the pendant or focal point. So there's a really large one. You have all the jump rings that you need for the project, but look how cool those are, just fitting inside each other. And this is one of my favorite findings. I have these in gold and silver. They're sort of diamond cut, so they really glisten. And these are really heavy duty stainless steel jump rings. So they are perfect to keep necklaces and bracelets secure. And then this is another just absolutely gorgeous bead in the matching blue watercolor. And let me get my fingers out of the way. It has the AB finish on half of it, just like the other beads. It's a top drilled teardrop. It's absolutely stunning. I love that. And then you guys, if you know me at all, then you're probably going, oh my, there's disc beads in this box. I don't know what it is about discs. I have a few favorite bead shapes, and discs are at the top of the list. They are just so cool when you string them together. I absolutely love them. I haven't even decided if I'm going to use these in my project, but these are so cool because they are the metallic silver Czech glass discs on one side and then the crystal on the other side. So they are really cool, and just stringing them at random gives you just a really beautiful flash. So pretty. And then there are these 6-0 metallic blue seed beads. Look how beautiful those are. They're just shimmer. They're just absolutely gorgeous. And then these have a tiny little silver, like a silver Picasso wash on these tiny little, I guess they're 4mm discs. It's like a pearly color, and it's really hard to see. I'm not sure if the camera is even focusing on the silver wash, but it's lovely. And then I absolutely love these. These are, I don't know if you can see the stripes in them. These are the most beautiful little kind of lamp work. I would call these lamp work, little Czech glass, like 6-0 size seed beads. They are just gorgeous. I love the stripe, the blue, and then it's blue and it's like a frosted white in there. Just gorgeous. I'm going to be probably using all of those in my project as well. That's everything in this dish. And then we got these gorgeous little 11-0 turquoise blue. They're the color of the Sleeping Beauty turquoise. If you know turquoise types, like the different between, I'm not an expert, but there's Kingman turquoise, which tends to be a little bit more green, and the Sleeping Beauty turquoise, the mine closed, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. So there is no more of it being mined. What is available is what's already out there in the world. And it is this pure, beautiful blue turquoise. And these seed beads are almost a perfect match to that Sleeping Beauty turquoise. And you know, what is more beautiful for summer than that pure blue turquoise color? And then these are almost the same color as my shell. Let me see if I can get one out of here. These are little drucks. A druck is a pressed smooth glass bead, and it's just absolutely stunning. They're just so pretty. The whole box is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so what I'm bringing in from my stash are some gold seed beads. I have 11-Os and 8-Os here. They are Miyuki seed beads, and not sure if I'm going to use both, but I'm so excited to show you guys this contraption. You can just start laughing at me now, saying, what is this girl doing? So this is a crazy contraption. Let me see if I hope it's dry enough for me to start working with it. So I took a 2.5 rounds of memory wire. Let me separate it so I can show you how I cut it. And I think that I'm going to string all 3 rounds. So what I've done is, so that it will bypass, I have set up one of my conch shells on this end, and I'm going to string all the way, so I will have beads here on my middle bracelet section, and then when I get to this end, I will place another conch shell here. And the contraption part is, I took a little, for those of you that are not familiar, this is the E6000 glue that just works so great. It will bond anything. And the wonderful thing about it is you have a little time for like resituating things before it dries. And when it dries, it doesn't dry crunchy hard. It's a bit rubbery. And so that's really good for bracelets. It's really good for jewelry, because you know jewelry moves on our bodies. So I put a little dollop of that on this cut end of my memory wire. And I have here 2 lengths of 24 gauge wire. This is my wire from my Softflex company. It's got an anti-tarnish coating, and it is 24 gauge, and these are about 24 inches long. I am totally guessing on this. This wire is going to be my embellishment, and it's also going to give me a really pretty end to my bracelet where my conch shell is. So the method to my madness, I'm going to let this hang out here. My first bead is already strung on here. It's the metallic silver Czech glass faceted round, and I am just going to string a little bead pattern right down to this part that I have already affixed. So let me not make a mess here with my long cords of wire. I'll set these little guys aside, and I am going to just play in these beads. Oh, and before I do, I am going to set out, let me get a little tray, and I'm going to set out some gold seed beads to work with. Okay, so when I am mixing metallics or even colors, I kind of like to do sort of an even alternation throughout my piece. So since I have a metallic silver Czech glass here, my next choice is going to be something in gold. And I am just going to string, 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 and just come up with a pattern. I want this bracelet to be rather petite, so I'm probably going to skip some of the larger beads that were in the box and stick with the smaller ones. But I'm just going to keep stringing, and when I get all 3 rounds and get to the end here, I will show you the plan for finishing this off. The wire is going to be an embellishment. Okay, you guys, I have strung this little pattern, and here's a tip if you're doing memory wire that's more than one coil. If you use an earring back, I have a silicone one here, but even regular metal earring backs really work great as a stopper so that you don't lose your beads. It's a little bit better idea than a clamp. The clamps can pop off, and of course, you know, it's an earring back, so you can't put too much pressure on it. But I have chosen my last seashell bead, and I'm planning to put this one on in the opposite direction. So I have the tip of the conch shell facing out on this one. On this side, when I attach this, I'm going to have the end of the conch shell facing out. And what I'm planning to do is I'm leaving this until I do my wire wrapping. And when I get to the end, I'll see how far this approximate 24 inches of wire gets me. And I will pause at some point and do the same setup here with a little bit of glue, poke my wire through in this direction and wrap back. So I am just going to start embellishing with my wire. The first thing I'm going to do is just bend it down the side of my conch shell. Now this is going to be a little bit challenging because I have three hoops or three loops on my memory wire. So I'm just going to have to get in there and do my best. Now what I love about this is if I really don't like the way this is looking, I can simply remove this wire, and there are memory wire end caps that you glue on the end. I can also have some flat back crystals that would be really pretty glued on the end just as a backup plan. And I'm telling you that because if you like this project and you like the idea, but you're not secure in doing this wire embellishment, you can always come up with a plan B. So I am going to pull this wire through. That's going to be the challenge, is, just pulling it through. But look how pretty it is to have the wire dancing around. So I'm just going to choose my spots and just gently wrap around, pull it through. It's only 24 gauge wire, so, it's pretty forgiving here. You can always go back to and I'd like to keep them together, so you can always go back and do that with my pliers after I place the wire. So I'm just going to continue wrapping around on top of my bead patterns that I've made and gently pulling it through my my memory wire loop. It's like anything, like even a knotted piece. When you start out, you have a lot of length to cope with, and it just gets easier and easier as you work your way. And it's wire, so in my experience, working slowly yields a better result. And then you can warm the wire and smooth it as you go. And I am just holding a little bit of pressure with my thumb and finger on the part that has already been wrapped, just so it doesn't uncoil. So as I move down the length of my bracelet, I'm just going to continue doing that and try not to kink your wire. But if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can pause and hold on to this with your thumb and finger, and get your nylon jaw pliers if you need to. So I'm going to keep going, just make my way. Okay, you guys, I am nearing my other end of my bracelet. I absolutely love, whoops, there goes my pliers. I absolutely love this effect. And my 24 inches, my two lengths of 24 inches is really just about perfect for 3 coils of memory wire. But I would need to glue this end anyway. you know, to put my shell on, or I could turn a loop on this end, but I really love these shell beads. So what I'm gonna do, and I can see also that I have pushed my earring back just a little bit. Let me get my pliers. Get a hold of the end, and I'm just gonna like snuggle everything down. The wire pushed a little bit, you know, as I was wrapping. Of course I pushed, just gravity. So I'm just gonna like hold on to this, put my earring back on here again, and let me just try to snuggle everything back in this direction. So what I'm gonna do is continue my wraps. I've gotten my, was trying to keep my two wires like right beside each other if possible. It doesn't, you know, in a few places it didn't stay like that, but it's so pretty. The wire laying across the beads, you still see the beauty of the beads, but the wire just adds an extra dimension, an extra element to the bracelet. And I quite love the gold wire laying across the silver beads. It's just lovely. And also I love how it has opened my cuff out. I think that's going to be really pretty on my arm. Okay, so I'm going to finish this by bringing this, let's see, up here. And I'm going to make a tiny little spiral here if I can. Let me warm these and straighten everything out. And I'm going to snip. That's a little bit more than I'll need, but, and once again, I'm going to take this earring stopper off. If I were to do this again, and I think I will, I really love this idea. I think, you know, it's a pretty cool design on the fly. But when you do a design, you know, you always learn something. So if I were to do this again, I would probably leave a little bit more space here, and I can still create that. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 discs. I can remove one of these discs to buy a little bit more space since my wire pushed. But also I was thinking I really wanted the smaller beads on this bracelet, but I was also thinking that using 6 or 8 millimeter all the way around and then creating an actual pattern. My wrapping is quite random and I really love it. Like I really love the effect, but you could actually create an actual pattern where you're embellishing with the same wrap all the way through the length of the bracelet. So I'm gonna do that and put my earring stopper back on and just try to, just gonna try to get a little tiny spiral in here. Very free form. Just gonna hold both of those wires together and get a little loop going. And I think my nylon jaw plier maybe. Okay, and that's going to give me a place. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did. Let me clear away some of these tools. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did on this side, and I will have to set this down and let my E6000 dry. But I'm going to take these two. Actually, on this end, I could, I don't know if you guys have seen these. Let me pull them out. These are actually made for memory wire, if you haven't seen them. They are the little glue-on end beads if you want to create memory wire items without turning a loop. So like if I were to do this again and using maybe a different bead, maybe I would turn a loop on one end and do the wrap on the other. That's an idea. But for those of you who haven't seen this, let me just show you what they look like. They come in gold and silver, and there's 3 sizes of this little end cap. And there's a little well, it's like a half drilled bead. Let me see if I can get a hold of it. There's a little well in there, and that's where you put your glue, and then you fit it on the end of the memory wire. So you could do that on one end, but you can also use like a flat back crystal. Let me think about it for a second, because I can also do the same thing that I did on the other end, which is take my excess wire and push it inside my bead this way. This is what I did on the other end. Put the 2 pieces of wire in and then pushed it on the end of the bracelet with some glue and let it set up to dry, and then did some fancy wrapping. And I had thought that's what I was going to do, and then wrap a little coil back here. But I am thinking that I'm just going to glue my final seashell on, and then maybe add a little crystal on the very end, just to you know, just to have it look finished and not be seeing, I don't want to see the bead hole, and I don't want to see the memory wire here. I want to like cap that off. So let me take my earring stopper off. And also what I'll do, I want to play with my spiral. I want to play with my spiral here a little bit, but I want to secure this. So I'm going to take my E6000, whoa, it's a brand new tube, so it is ready to go to work. I'm going to take my E6000 and just put a dollop right on the end. It dries clear and very rubbery, so it's better to have a little bit too much than not enough, I think, for a piece like this, because you do want to make sure that it's secure, because if your end bead comes off, then you're going to lose, you know, all your other beads. So you can always clean it away. It's a good idea to have a toothpick or something. So I'm just going to get some glue right on there and get it on there, get it to set up. So I'm using the seashell like a memory wire end cap. And if you've never done this before, I'll just tell you that it's a really pretty look. It's finished, you know, it's just a little, to me, it's a little bit more polished than just turning a loop and hanging charms on the memory wire. And I really like the look. But the challenge is to get everything in place. Like I want my seashell to stay like this. So the challenge is to get everything in place and leave it alone and let it dry like that. And you can like work with E6000 within an hour or so, but on a piece like this where this cap is really holding all these beads in place, I will probably leave this for a few hours or maybe even overnight before I come back and finish the video. And like when I do memory wire rings, this is the challenge that I have with that too, is I don't want it to lose its position. So I just have to find a little way to prop this up and let it dry. And so each piece is different, you know, depending on what you're using for an end cap. But honestly, my beading mat is working perfectly to hold that just the way that I want. So while that dries, I am going to search for something really pretty to put at the end. I will choose something, and on these I'll be using just 1 dot of super glue. And I'll put that on the very end. I might even do this end too. I'm not going to touch it until it dries, so it'll just be a second for you through the magic of editing, and I'll be back and try this on. Oh my goodness, you guys, I love this so much. This is a mermaid bracelet. So I had to step away and eat some dinner and really let my conch shells that are glued on the ends, like really let them dry. And you know, when I'm waiting and I really want to finish my piece, then that had me start thinking about design. So this was a bit of a design on the fly, because I had intended to kind of do the same thing and wire wrap back in this direction, but I ended up not doing that. I really liked the way that it finished. I tweaked my little spiral here that finishes it off and made it nice and tight. Can you see? And it's really secure because I did let it sit up overnight. And I just had this little bauble, this turquoise sequin or rhinestone ball in my stash, and I took one of the teardrops from the box and the leftover 24 gauge wire that I wrapped with, and I just did a creative little spiral and like briolet wrap on this. You know, it just kept me busy while I was waiting for everything to dry, because I really like to finish things, and it's really hard for me to be patient and walk away from it. So it looks like this. It's absolutely amazing. Now, if you're not familiar with memory wire, it is a wire that's stainless steel and it holds its shape, but I pulled mine out as I was wrapping, and I really love the effect. I love the way that it looks. So I did the charms on this end because I have a wire embellishment on this end, and I just love it. So I left mine pulled out because I just think this effect is beautiful. As I said, it looks like a mermaid's bracelet to me. I just love it. So, but you can like readjust your memory wire. You can pull it in, you know, by twisting it back in shape. You can maneuver it a little bit even though it holds its shape. So everything is done, and the cool thing about this piece is that all of these beads are glass, and even my seed beads, you know, the gold, the metallics are all glass. So the only thing that needs to be done with my Permalac, my anti-tarnish coating, is literally this little bling ball. But I wanted to show you something on this. If you, I'm going to brush one of my Czech glass beads just to show you that if you have a bead on a bracelet, like, you know, like this one, that's got a metallic finish. But any of these that have like a matte finish, if you're concerned about a bead getting scratched, you can actually use your Permalac coating for that as well. And I have the little ball head pin that was in the kit. That's what I use to make this, and I just have to get in there. I usually do this after my piece is done, but I just have to get in there with this little brush and just coat it. And can you see that I'm not worried about brushing over the crystals in the little ball? This dries clear, and it does not cloud or take away the sparkle of things. And that is the semi-gloss. I get questions about that all the time. If you get the matte, it will cloud your crystals if you brush it over things, but I can brush it over my crystals that I glued on the ends. But you can also use it if you want to like protect a bead. So I'm just going to show you that nothing happens. Like I can brush it over my silver bead and nothing happens. When it dries, you don't see anything. So when you're doing metal spacers with this, if you accidentally brush your metal or brush even this bead here that has the AB coating on it, I can brush that right over, and you see, I don't know if the camera's showing you, but it still sparkles and like nothing happens to it. So this is like one of the best products. I no longer go in my garage with Krylon spray and newspaper because I just sit here with my little brush and do that. So check my description box. I will put links to the Kraftika company. They offer 2 boxes every month. This one was Bohem style. The bracelet that I was wearing is from their other box, Czech Beads exclusive. They are stunning, both boxes. I love getting them. The beads are high quality. And you guys, I made a stunning bracelet, and I used a lot of beads for this, but there is still so much left over. The projects in this month's kit were a beautiful long necklace and a double strand bracelet, as I told you at the beginning, and you just get an awful lot for the price. So I thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with more videos with all the bead boxes from the month of June, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao, friends.